Hello and good evening, everyone. I hope that my voice is audible to all of you and the PPT in front of you is visible as well. Very good evening, Harshit. Very good evening, Arya, Chaitanya. Very good evening, everyone. So, as we all know, that today's session is on the DUJAT preparation for the business and general awareness section. So, to be precise, let us just quickly start with the DUJAT business and general awareness section, and giving a brief introduction of myself. I am Nitika. I am GK faculty from Hit Bullseye, right? So, as we know that from over the past 2-3 years, the DUJAT, especially the general and business awareness section, has been asking us a variety of questions relating to different domain. For example, in 2016, more of the questions were from sports. From in 2017, the questions were more from the current affairs. And from 2018, 19, and 20, we've been noticing a change in the trend or change in the questions asked by the DUJAT. Now, the for over 3 years analysis, we have figured that the DUJAT section, or especially the business and general awareness section, is more focused towards the current affairs or the current based static, right? So, quickly moving on further, how to pace up the general awareness or the business awareness section of the DUJAT. Now, before starting up with this, I want to ask you students few questions. What exactly do we know about the general awareness, or what exactly do you know about the general knowledge or general awareness? Yes, anyone? So we have a couple of students here. Please kindly share us what exactly is general awareness or general affairs for you. See, most of the students have been throwing us a questions, couple of questions that, ma'am, general awareness is very difficult, or it is very difficult to memorize the facts and figures. You need some tips and tricks on how to study and how to memorize this section. I know this is the make or break section in any competitive exam, be it the grad, be it the post grad, or be it the UPSC level. Everyone is concerned about how to memorize the facts and figures for the general awareness. So, quickly about DUJAT tests. So, there will be 4 sections in this test, DUJAT, and there will be quantitative ability, general English, business and general awareness, and last is your reasoning and analytical ability. And now each section contains 25 questions, and the question paper, it will be as always available in the English language only. Now DUJAT will be of 400 marks, which means that each question will be awarded 4 marks. Now there is definitely a negative marking, which is a negative sign for you all too. For every incorrect response, the candidate will have to lose 1 mark. Now, DUJAT, it is conducted once every year in the month of June or July after your +2 exams get over. So this exam is conducted by Delhi University, and the aspirants seeking admissions in various undergrad programs have to give the entrance test. Yes, absolutely, Arya. That is very good answer you've given. General awareness is technically you are aware about the happenings around you, not just around you, even in the world. Like, okay, can you tell me some recent happenings which has been in news for a couple of days now? Any current affairs you have read which is very important of national as well as international importance? Anyone? Yes, any one of you can tell me. Very good. Arya again has given good answer. Bihar elections, very good. US elections. Any other current affairs? Yes, Chaitanya, Harshit, Sahil, I expect answers from your side too. Yes, absolutely. So, see, it is very important. Very good, Harshit. That's good. So, absolutely, I think now you get it that whatever is going around us, and that is of very important, and that is of prime importance, especially relating to your exam. Now, see, I give you a very small example which we will pick up in the do's and don'ts of preparing for the general awareness section. So, I'll just cover up later on only. Very good. Reliance and Future Limited deal. Armenians' new president. Good. Very good. So now let's jump to our next, that is how to prepare for the general awareness. See, first trick is the newspaper reading, and it is highly recommended to all the aspirants, because newspaper reading is not just you are reading a few pages in a day. It's like preparing for your upcoming exams right the time you have decided to do that, right? Newspaper reading is why it is highly recommended, because whatever is covered in newspaper, you will not get that coverage in any other competitive website, or in even in the competitive snippets, right? So in the newspapers, again, you need to understand how to read a newspaper. If you will join the Hit Bullseye course program, we have given you a special slide or a special program on just based on how to read a newspaper in 45 minutes. Now, always remember, okay, I'm just sharing a small trick with you all. Try to read the newspaper only within 45 minutes. If you are crossing the 45 minutes limit, that means your reading is slow, right? जितने भी आपके इम्पोर्टेंट जितने भी इम्पोर्टेंट एग्जाम्स होते हैं, इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू कवर योर न्यूज़पेपर्स, एंड द क्वालिटेटिव न्यूज़पेपर इज अगेन important, for which we prefer the Hindu, the Indian Express, the Economic Times. Otherwise, if you're reading any other newspaper, it's okay, it's good, but try to fix up your newspaper along with these suitable newspapers which I have just mentioned. That is the Hindu, the Indian Express, the Economic Times. The opinion page, or the explained page of Indian Express and the Hindu, they are very important. And for the even in the recent past, we have examples of CLAT and NCLAT students who've been giving us positive feedback relating to the Indian Express and the Hindu newspapers. Definitely, even some of our DUJAT students who have cracked the DUJAT exam 2020, even they have given us positive response relating to this particular newspaper, that is the Indian Express. It's very important. Also, do not miss any articles 6 months before your exam. Now, suppose if your exam is scheduled in June 2021, so it is important to read the newspaper from January till June, or even the day before your exam, because these days exams are being promoted, or they are being asked questions even a day before the exam. So don't think that if your exam is scheduled on 15th of June, so you'll stop reading the newspaper right after 1st June. Don't ever commit this mistake, because last year few students have been doing this, and they had given wrong answers to this, to many GK questions which have been asked in that particular timeline, right? So always make sure that you read the newspaper in a timeline, so that you can match up your scheduled entrance exam, right? And it is always advisable that 6 months to 1 year current affairs will be asked in any competitive exam, be it anyone. Here I'm not just talking about DUJAT, I'm talking about the IPM students, I'm talking about the CLAT students, NCLAT students, I'm talking about IHM students, IPBH, MCT, NCHM, JE, all the entrance exams. Make sure that you have the bulk notes of current affairs ranging between 6 months to 1 year, right? So I hope it is sorted till now. Any doubt relating to the newspaper reading, students? Any doubt, anything you want to ask relating to the newspaper reading?
Ma'am, can you just tell the way or the pages, main pages we have to read?
Very good question. It is again, the frequently asked question from the students. Okay, always try to categorize your newspaper reading, because if you will not categorize, now it will be very difficult for you to even club up the news which you have read. Okay, the first thing which you have to do while reading a newspaper is just mark the important headlines. Mark the important headlines. First, you just have to do it. Scrutinize the newspaper for 2 to 3 minutes. Now by scrutinizing, you mean just open the newspaper and with the pen or pencil just mark the headlines which you have to cover or which you have to read thoroughly, right? You will observe that in a day's newspaper, not more than 12 to 15 headlines you will have to cover, right? Especially relating to your competitive exam. So the first thing is mark the important headlines. Now secondly is start reading the important news. Now how to get to know that if this news is important or not, right? This is very important. Firstly, pick up the economy news as much as you can. The economy, the polity issues, not the political issues. Now Amit Shah saying something to Rahul Gandhi, or Narendra Modi ji saying something against Mahatma Gandhi ji, now such news are not at all important to you. Even relating to the Bihar elections, US elections, any political statements given by the Biden or the Trump, or any political statements given by Modi ji on the Bihar elections, they are not at all important. For the Bihar elections, the election counting is important. The number of legislative assembly seats are important. How many seats have been occupied by so and so party, that is important. So you just have to make a chart of it, or even you have seen in newspaper that they always present the legislative assembly seats in the most beautiful diagrammatic manner, so that you just cram it and you just get to know, okay, these are the number of seats, these are the seats which have been allotted or which have been won by BJP government, by Congress, by other parties, so and so, right? So in any election, in any legislative assembly election, you just have to memorize this thing only, nothing else, right? So definitely the polity current affairs, any changes in the law, any bill which has been presented in the Lok Sabha, passed in Rajya Sabha, passed by president, economy related news, economy entering, landing in recession, coming out of recession, or the negative GDP growth rate, or fall in inflation, rise in inflation, such news are again important, right? Then next, if I talk about some environment, because environment these days is again an alarming topic for everyone, and I have noticed in 2020 most of the question, at least in one entrance exam, there were 2 to 3 questions from the environment. Now environment, any declaration of a new site as a Ramsar wetland, any declaration of a site as a heritage site by the UNESCO. So such news are again important. Environment, economy and polity, do not skip any news from these three areas, right? Then coming up to the next, of course, because we are DUJAT aspirants, so that is very very important for you to understand the business awareness. Right now, again, by business awareness, do not pick up the news relating to the share markets, because share markets are again highly volatile and you don't have to cram it, right? You just know the proceedings of it, or how the share markets processes in the arenas. Otherwise, do not read much about share markets. Yes, in the business awareness, you need to know about the amalgamations, about the mergers, about the acquisitions. They are very important for you. About the mergers, amalgamations, acquisitions, like in the previous past, the NCLT or the Vodafone Idea issue or the telecom crisis, very much in the news. So you need to know what exactly was the crisis, what was the AGR, and why the Supreme Court was giving the decision about it, what was government demanding. So these are some of the things you must know about it, right? So business awareness, again, the because in DUJAT most common business awareness are asked from these areas only, and they can ask you the recently appointed CEO, CFO, COOs, and even the recently appointed brand ambassadors of any brand, any new brand launched by any parent company. So these news are important. Also, one question can be asked from the logos and taglines. So also in the hit bullseye, gk.hit bullseye, we have given you a separate section of business awareness, where we have given you a PDF, which is updated PDF on the logos and taglines of different companies and brands in India as well as in the world. So once you will join the hit bullseye, you will get maximum access of these sources, right? So after the business awareness, the next and the most important topic will be international relations. Okay, what exactly do we mean by international relations? Anyone? What will be covered in the international relations? Very good,
Something
Sahil.
like
Absolutely. We can also differentiate the headlines in the economy, law, finance as well. Yes, please, please. You were saying
ma'am,
something?
something
Yes,
like
Harsh.
Rafael deal.
Okay, very good. So Rafael deal, according to Harshit, is the international relations (IR). So do everyone agree to it or not? Was it a national policy or was it an international policy? Rafael deal. See, whenever the more than one countries are involved, we technically call it an international relation or an international policy. For example, the Rafale deal was, no doubt, it was our defense deal, but it was a defense deal with France. So technically, it became the matter of IR, international relations. So now we have to look back at India-France relations too, and when was the deal signed, during whose timeline the deal was being signed, right? International relations has technically broad horizons as compared to any other area. That is why this area, especially in this decade, it's very important, because India has been tying up with many countries. You have seen, like, in the recent past, India and Russia, India and China, India and Nepal, India and Bhutan, then India and France, India and Germany, and then India and Singapore, India and Sri Lanka, India and Maldives, India and we have BIMSTEC, relations, right? So even these days, not just with India and some other country, also between the countries is also important. Like, in the most recent past, the most talked about area or the issue was Armenian and the Azerbaijan issue. And people were again very critical about that matter, as against, again, this was the land dispute between the Armenia and the Azerbaijan. So there are many unresolved issues in the world relating to the land or relating to the borders, just like the Jammu and Kashmir is with India and Pakistan. Even we have read about the Gilgit Baltistan and how the government of Pakistan had tried to show the Gilgit Baltistan as the province of the Pakistan itself. So it was again the most furious or most fumed up topic for India, that how how Pakistan is projecting it. And also in the recent past, Hafiz, the global terrorist Hafiz Saeed, was given 10-year jail to the by the Pakistan courts. So again, this is an international relation, international news, which is of our importance, because somewhere or the other, that terrorist or that decision is relating to India. So always make sure the international news which has some relevance or which has some importance for India is again important, right? So do not skip that part. Don't think that, okay, if he has been jailed, what is of our use? It can come to your exam, right? So always try to pick up those international affairs, those international news, which somewhere or the other may have impact on the Indian economy, right? Definitely, as Sahil has also mentioned, the import and export policies. Again, Sahil, that comes under the national news only, because exim policies are again the part of the national policies or the part of Indian economy. So we cover up that part in the Indian economy only, right? So any doubt till the international relations part? So this is how you have to pick up the headlines from the newspapers. Apart from this, again, I think this will be the most important or most interesting one for many of you, that is the sports. Some of you might be, reading the newspaper from the sports section only, because I've seen many students following up newspapers like that. So they first open the sports news and then they move towards the headlines, right? So yes, sports is again important. Sports which are of national and international events, right? Also there are few events. Oh, that's great, Harshit. I knew even many of you will be there, but they are not accepting it. But I'm happy that you have accepted it yourself. Very good. So national and international events are very important, right? Also there are few, for example, we have Olympics, we have cricket tournaments, we have Asian games, we have Commonwealth games, which are quadrennial or biennials. So these annual events or the biennial or quadrennial events are again important. So even you have to read the static or the history part of these sports events, right? So do not just get confined to the upcoming events. Read about the past events also, or even the Indians who have won in the events of Olympics, Asian games, Commonwealth games. This is important, right? Now last but not the least, awards. So yes, again, awards are important for DUJAT students. One question you'll definitely see in your exam relating to the awards, be it the international award or the national award. Both are important for you. And also we have, however, this comes under the national news, appointments and resignations. Sometime even obituaries can be asked, right? The death of any important personality, not just the political, maybe some eminent personality from the business world, from the sports world, from the economy, from the previous from the modern history of India. So yes, these news can be there, right? Also in the Indian Express, if you will read the Indian Express newspaper, there is a column wherein they have mentioned a, an event which is relating to a particular day and that year. Like for example, if I say that 14th of April, now 14th of April, we all know that it is the day which marks the Jallianwala Bagh massacre, right? So Jallianwala Bagh massacre, again, that is the black day in our history. So Indian Express makes sure that the day is being commemorated, or that day is being observed, and the news will be given to the people, so that they get to know what has happened this day that year, right? So that is again very interesting column. Please do read that column, because again, any India signing any treaty on that day with any other country, or in the modern history signing off the civil disobedience movement, Quit India movement, or even non-cooperation movement by Gandhiji, Dandi March. So such events will be, again, it will be memorized by the Indian Express automatically. So that is again a plus to all of you, that if you are kind of not following up on the dates and years, so Indian Express will help you doing that, right? So that is why I'm more and more focusing on Indian Express, because I have seen that Indian Express is unbiasedly giving us the headlines, and the vocabulary used in Indian Express is also comfortable for you all to read, right? Any other question relating to the reading of newspaper? Anyone? Yes. Any doubt till here? Anything you want to ask till here? All right. So now moving on to the next. So I think this I have covered real quick. So read only the exam relevant articles and the editorials in the from the newspaper. And even when you will be going for your exam, try to make it more logical and more exam relevant. And do not jump to such news and headlines which may be covered in the previous year, or you think which will not be covered for the DUJAT exam. right? So for this, I would recommend you all to please go through with the previous year papers of DUJAT, which is again present in our gk.hit bullseye section. So we have given actual previous year papers to the students for your understanding, for better understanding that how what type of questions have been asked in the previous years, right? So your goal is definitely more important than your interest when it comes to reading the newspaper. So it gets very, you get tempted by the Bollywood news or the B Town news more often, right? Try to avoid it because you don't want your mind to get deviated from such things. So always remember that you're reading the newspaper with the idea or with the goal of clearing your exam, and not to clutter some gossip so that you can talk about it with your friends, right? So this is very important. So next is, always try to make notes as and when you read the newspaper. Your notes should be crisp and relevant. Now, again, some students, they always keep on asking me, ma'am, how do we memorize the current affairs which we have read in, like, June and July? So my answer is, try to make notes of it. Just, read the newspaper, take a cutting of that headline, keep it in your book, paste it in a book. Or if you can't do that, just write 4 lines, not more than 4 bullet points relating to one headline. That is again very important trick. Write a headline, just write 4 bullet points relating to it, not more than 4 points. Otherwise you'll start, it'll make more complex of it. You will start thinking that it is getting comprehensive, which we don't want to do. That we want to make it short and crisp, right? So make notes as and when you read the newspaper. Again, if you see that in a newspaper, averagely 12 to 15 news headlines will be of your importance. So in a day, 15 headlines, 15 current affairs, that is all, right? So you don't have to go depth in most of the cases. Like most of the students go in depth of a particular current affairs. Again, you're not giving a UPSC exam, you are just giving DUJAT entrance exam. For the UPSC, you need to go in depth of any issue. For you just have to cover the outline of a particular issue. What is the issue, why it has been created, in which year it has been created, who was the person in charge of this issue, that is it. Who has been appointed as what previous to this person who was in the position, and when was this company formed, from which country this company belongs to. So especially the business awareness related, if a person has been appointed as the CEO of a particular company, so the rule applies the same here. From which country this company belongs to, what is the tagline of the company, what is the logo of the company, who is the brand ambassador of the company, who was the founder of this company, who was the previous CEO. That's it. So these 4 points and you're done, right? So always try to read the news in this manner only. Also, I have just mentioned that you should try to classify what you read into the categories. Also, because in this 2020, the news relating to science and technology, be it the plasma, be it the RCT tests, be it the COVID-19 and the SARS and the MERS, we have chemical disasters, we have biological disasters, we have again natural disasters in the news. So all these news are again important. Especially this year, we have plenty of articles relating to science and tech, environment, economy, and polity. So I have already discussed this. This is very important. So do not skip even the science and tech part. However, science and tech part, you don't have to go back to the ninth and 10th standard and read the books of science and tech. Just from the newspapers, you will be able to cover what is happening in the science and tech world. Any new missiles launched by India or even in the world, any particular country has launched some supersonic missile, any new satellite range has been launched. So yes, even such news are again important for DUJAT students, right? DUJAT students especially, don't think that only business related questions will be asked from you. One or two questions definitely will be deviated from the mainstream, right? So they can ask you missiles, they can ask you satellites, they can ask you the military exercises even. Like recently we had India Thailand Corbat exercise, right? So military exercises can also be asked from you. So these are just, one question, or these are just one liners which you just need to understand, right? Okay, India has had this exercise with which country, What was the purpose? Was it an army exercise? Was it an air force exercise, naval exercise, maritime exercise? What was it? And in which year these countries have decided to start this exercise? Or again, 4 points and you're done, right? So try to compress your preparations in a way that that ultimately you don't get lost while preparing for it, right? You are very, play it logically. Do not play it just comprehensively ki okay, पढ़ना शुरू किया तो पढ़ते ही जा रहे हो and there is no end to it. Always keep a timeline, always keep it logical, factful, and make sure that you do not deviate from it. Also, one more trick, try to manage your time in a way that you cover up your school subjects as well as these entrance exam subjects too. Now if for DUJAT students we have four subjects for you, so try to make sure that within 72 hours you repeat the subject again. Do not make a gap of 72 hours. Like GK, as you all know, that GK is it is a regular exercise. It is not just a subject for you, it is an exercise for you. Every day you need to read the newspapers. Now that is for the current affairs, but even you know that for the static subjects you need to read the history, the geography, the polity. That is again very important. You cannot skip that part, right? Even if people say that DUJAT only needs to cover the current affairs, I would really suggest, I would highly recommend you to please go through the static part, especially the modern history and polity, because whatever is going on currently right now, somewhere we have the roots from the history. So please cover the modern history, the post independent issues, and the polity, which again you will get from the from gk.hit bullseye again, because we have given it in the most comprehensive manner so that you can just cover the most relevant topics. Also the international organizations, the history of international organizations, very important. Many competitors we have read that they're giving us analysis that read only current affairs, you don't have to go through it. Let me tell you, in DUJAT 2020 there has been questions relating to the static polity. Now if the students who did not read the static polity, they weren't able to answer those questions. Now not answering a question will cost you one seat in the DU, right? So please, if you have time, try to manage your time in a way that every day you read the newspapers. Secondly, manage your time in a way that in a day you start reading the static GK, next day you can leave it off, and the next day alternatively read the static GK. It will be beneficial for you. It will help you in memorizing it or retaining it for a long period of time. Also it is going to help you maintaining that peace and calm in your mind, that okay, in one day you're reading the static GK with reasoning ability, next day you read English and maybe quantitative, next day again start with the GK and reasoning ability. So in this way you can make the you can just make a couple of things sorted so that you can cover your syllabus on time, right? So then the next one we have is, again, do not focus on the nitty gritty of the share markets. I have already discussed this part, right? Do not go very deep into the share markets, because again, no questions have ever been asked relating to the share markets, right? Press conferences by political parties. Again, now press conferences, if it is relating to the business summit, if it is relating to the international event, for example, APEC summit, BRIC summit, or we have United Nations General Assembly sessions. If something is relating to the international event, then it is important, but any political party conferences are not important, right? So again, the next we have, now this subject revision is right before your exam. Just like I had mentioned, that you need to brush up the medieval and the modern history. Modern history is very important, because everything we are facing currently is all relating to the modern history. Even our independence is contributed towards the modern history, 1947. Post independent issues after 1947 till today, what has been the India's foreign policy, what is India's nuclear policy, how the integration of states were done by Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel and by Jawaharlal Nehru ji. So these are few areas which again you need to cover, even if they are not asked in the previous or in the previous years for DUJAT, they can be asked. These are some of the areas you can just not afford to skip, right? The next, revise the polity associated with the legal amendments and any recent updates. Again, I think with the BJP government coming from 2014, there has been tremendous amendments in the laws and in the bills, and we are every month, on an averagely, I have seen nearly 15 to 16 bills passed in a year. Now that is an average, there are more than that, right? So averagely in a month we have one or two bill which is either being presented in Lok Sabha or passed in Rajya Sabha or passed by the president. And okay, I can ask one question from the legal amendments right now. Any recent legal amendments you have read in the newspaper? Any legal amendment, any amendment in the law, to be precise, any amendment in the law which you can recall or you have read in the recent past? Anyone? Very good. So Harshit has mentioned Companies Act 2019. Very good. Any other? And in 2019, abrogation of Article 370, very much in news. I hope आप लोगों ने सुना होगा. Abrogation of Article 370. The special rights have been scrapped off from Jammu and Kashmir and been made into union territories. Okay, how many UTs do we have in our country? How many union territories do we have in our country? Is it 7, 8, or 9? Okay, so that means you have skipped one news of February 2020 that the Union Territory of Dadra and Nagar Haveli and Daman and Diu have been merged. So technically now we have 8 union territories because Dadra and Nagar Haveli and Daman and Diu, they have been merged under one union territory, that is Dadra and Nagar Haveli, Daman and Diu, with Daman as its capital, right? So now we have 8 UTs, and how many states do we have currently? How many states do we have? Okay, that's good. Okay, some are still writing 28 or 29. See, this is, I think, ये बहुत बड़ा problem है. Geography is again a big problem, because if this is again a very petty question which can be asked, the state which has been surrounded by the couple of states, or if this state is surrounded by this state or not. So again, states, capitals, the Tropic of Cancer, the line of Allahabad or the Prayag is again important. Geography, again, because we have interstate disputes, water disputes, river water disputes have been in line. We have Godavari river dispute, we have Satluj Beas dispute, we have Krishna river dispute, we have Kaveri river dispute, we have Mahanadi dispute, Narmada dispute. Almost all the important river systems in our country are disputed. Now you need to understand from which states these rivers are flowing from, and what are their areas, and what are the tributaries that are flowing through this river system. Again, geography is important. Yes, Prem, absolutely. Geography does form a part of DUJAT because geography is a part of current affairs, right? Recently, we had, I think few months back, the news relating to Godavari River dispute was, quite in the limelight, right? So again, yes, geography forms a part of DUJAT, definitely. Right? So yes, after this I was asking you relating to some of the legal amendments. So you were mentioning about the again, abrogation of Article 370. Then we have triple talaq bill which have been passed. Then Companies Act 2019. Recently, the most recent one, 2020, was the Consumer Protection Act 1986 have been scrapped off and now amended to Consumer Protection Act 2019, right? So that was a brief of it. Okay. Any doubt till here? Okay, so after this, now let's just jump towards some of the important current affairs. Harshit, not yet. The question paper is not out yet, but we can provide you. We have the 2020 DUJAT question paper, which is memory based again. So we have asked few students of our institute, and they have given us memory based feedback of the DUJAT questions, right? Okay. So recently, a virtual meeting of the 21 member Asia Pacific Economic Cooperation Forum was held, and the meeting was hosted by the Malaysia. So I hope you all know what is APEC. Yes, anyone? What is APEC? APEC. So APEC was established in the year 1989 with total number of members 21. However, India is not the member of APEC, but the member nations of APEC consists of New Zealand, Australia, Brunei, Canada, Chile, China, Hong Kong, Indonesia, Japan, South Korea, Malaysia, Mexico, New Zealand, Papua New Guinea, Peru, Philippines, Russia, Singapore, Chinese, Taipei, Thailand, Vietnam, and the United States. So its 21 member economies are home to around 2.8 billion people and has represented almost approximately 59% of world GDP and 49% of the world trade in 2015. So India has requested the membership of APEC and received initial support from the USA, Japan, Australia, even the Papua New Guinea. Officials have decided not to allow India to join the APEC because India does not border the Pacific Ocean, which all the current members do. And this is the only reason why India is still not getting the membership of the APEC. So, India, however, was invited in the APEC as the observer country for the first time in the November 2011. So, India will be more integrated with the global economy if India joins the APEC, and definitely it is beneficial for India if India joins the APEC, right? Prem, in the IPM, we don't have any general awareness section in the entrance exam, but definitely if you're preparing for IPM, your PI sessions, current affairs are important. For your GDs, for your PIs, general awareness is important. In fact, I would suggest for IPM students, be very precise about current affairs, because there you won't be given any objective or you won't be given any option for your answer. They can just directly ask you, is India the member of APEC or not? You either have to say yes or have to say no. So there you won't be given the options. So for IPM students, please be more sharp about reading your current affairs. They can ask you any issue and you have to tell a whole lot about it, right? So yes, India, by joining APEC, India will be more integrated towards the global economy, and it will definitely help India bargain and negotiate a better deal with the countries of the Asia Pacific region. And expected benefits, we expect that APEC will find an alternative market for labor, consumers, and investments for India, and additional counterweight to help checking the unilateral economic ambitions in the region. So, in this meeting, in the recent meeting, again, the focus areas remain the trade and investment, digital economy and technology, structural reform, economic and technical cooperation, right? So, this meeting, as I have just discussed, it was hosted by Malaysia, and New Zealand will also host the next year's APEX meeting virtually due to the pandemic, right? So, APEC leaders had adopted the Putra Jaya vision, which is 2040. So it is a new 20-year growth vision to replace the Bogor goals, which is named after the Indonesian town where the leaders had signed in 1994 to free and open trade investments. So discuss this free trade area of the Asia Pacific, which is called as FTAAP agenda. Again, this is very important, FTAAP agenda. So FTAAP, again, they had recalled and renegotiated the FTAAP agenda and the APEC Internet and Digital Economy Roadmap. So China has become the main driving force behind this grouping after the US began withdrawing from the multilateral bodies during the Trump's presidency. So as we all know that during the Donald Trump time, USA has been withdrawing from many free trade agreements, like it has withdrawn from NAFTA, withdrawn from UNESCO, withdrawn from UNICEF, and many other multilateral treaties, which had caused kind of negative image or negative reputation of USA towards the multilateralism, right? So here the China stand came up very strong, and it vowed to keep its supersized economy open for the business and warned against the protectionism. So Trump had made a very surprise decision to take part in this year's event after not participating at the apex since 2017. So even in 2016, the Donald Trump has given the statement that, APEC is nothing but a big world bogus for the US. And after that, many countries have criticized the statement given by Donald Trump. But now this year, when the US presidential elections were down the line, so he had shown interest in attending this APEC meeting, right? So after signing the world's largest trade pact, that is RCEP, that which is Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, RCEP, China is trying to set the agenda for the global commerce. However, we know that in December 2019, India exited from the RCEP, which is again mentioned in our website. So I have made a special video on the RCEP and why India has exited from the RCEP, that is Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, right? So technically, we are looking forward for from more and more for more roadmaps coming from the APEC, right? Then the next one we have is, so this is again, like I was just mentioning, the India Thailand Coordinated Patrol, which is the 30th edition of the India Thailand Coordinated Patrol, which has been recently concluded in the Andaman Sea, which is very much close to the Strait of Malacca, right? All right. So because we all know that in the recent past, even Thailand has been facing a lot of internal differences, and internal aggressions were quite a lot there because people were not happy with the way government and the king they were operating in the country, right? So this naval exercise between India and Thailand have been carrying out corpat along their international maritime boundary line twice a year since 2005. So Indian naval ship, which is named as Karmuk, which is an indigenously built ship, and the Thailand frigate HTMS Karaburi, which is again, they're indigenously made. So they both the naval ships have participated in the 30th edition. So the main aim of this corpat is to keep part of the Indian Ocean safe and secure for the commercial shipping and international trade. Also, to ensure the effective implementation of the United Nations Convention on the Laws of the Sea, which is called as the relating to the protection and the conservation of the natural resources, conservation of marine environment, preservation and suppression of illegal, unregulated fishing activities, even the drug trafficking, piracy, exchange of information, in prevention of smugglings, illegal immigration. So all of these are being tackled under the UN clause, which is also called as the laws of sea. So as a part of Indian government's vision of SAGAR, SAGAR, which stands for security and growth for all in the region, the Indian Navy has been involved in assisting the countries in the Indian Ocean region with exclusive economic zone EEZ surveillance, humanitarian assistance, and the disaster relief, which is called as HADR, HADR, and other capacity building and capacity enhancement activities on their request. So India and Thailand shares a good bond ever since NAM, ever since the non-line movement has been signed between between couple of countries. And India and Thailand, they both even have the bilateral trade agreements and have even participated in many of the coordinated events like ASEAN, BIMSTEC. Then we have Mekong Ganga, United Nations, and even sharing several other multilateral treaties with each other. Besides this, some other military exercises between India and Thailand are, we have Maitri, exercise Maitri, which is an army exercise between them, and we have Siam Bharat, which is an air force, and the third one is Corpat, which we have just covered, right? So again, like I was mentioning, the exercises, the military exercises are again important. I hope till here, any doubts, students? Any doubts till here? All right. The next one is India's artificial intelligence supercomputer Param Siddhi has been ranked 63rd among top 500 most powerful non-distributed computer systems in the world. Now, distributed computing, it is a field of computer science that studies the distributed systems. The distributed system is a system whose components are located on different networked computers which communicate and coordinate their actions by passing the messages to one another. So the components interact with one another in order to achieve a common goal. However, in a non-distributed system, all the parts of system are in the same physical location. So in the distributed system, the part of system exists in the separate location. So this Param Siddhi, it is a high performance computing artificial intelligence supercomputer which was developed by Department of Science and Technology under the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology under the National Supercomputers Mission at the Center for Development of Advanced Computing. So the supercomputer has R peak of 5.267 petaflops and 4.6 petaflops R max. In the high performance computing, the RPeak and RMax are scores, they are used to rank supercomputers based on the performance, which is using the LINPACK benchmarks, right? Now, talking about the National Supercomputing Mission, which was launched by India, it was launched in 2015 with the 7-year mission allocating 45,000 crores under it. So these supercomputers will be networked in a way that it is going to give a boost to the India's banking, finance, science and tech and the defense system in the country. So this mission is implemented and steered jointly by the Department of Science and Tech and the Department of Electronics and Information Technology. So the idea behind NSM is to make India one of the world leaders in supercomputing and to enhance the India's capability to solve the grand challenge problems of national and global relevance, right? So then now the next one we have is, so recently, the Prime Minister has inaugurated the Bengaluru Tech Summit. Now, tech summits are again important for DUJAT students. The summits, the business meets, the again the conferences relating to the business, again important. So recently, the PM has inaugurated the Bengaluru Tech Summit via the video conference, which was attended by the Prime Minister of Australia. It is India's flagship event, which will deliberate on the key challenge emerging in the post-pandemic world with the focus on the impact of prominent technologies. So the theme for 2020 is Next is Now, and the focus is mainly on innovations in the domains of information technology and electronics and biotech. The organizers of this summit were the government of Karnataka, along with Karnataka Innovation and Technology Society, the Karnataka government's Vision Group of Information Technology Software, and the Software Technology Parks of India. Now, the concerns in the summit highlighted that with the increasing use of technology in the governance and other areas, the data protection and cybercrime has become more significant. And these are the areas which are again, the governments need to, take care of it very diligently. So there is a need to devise about the robust cyber security systems and solutions which can protect the digital products against the cyber attacks and the viruses. So this summit has highlighted the role of technology, wherein the India's governance model based on the technology first is given prime importance. In this summit, many apps have been given, prime importance. Like we have PM Kisan mobile app, we have Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana, Ayushman Bharat, Arogya Setu app, again, which was India's first contact tracing app, Arogya Setu app, which is based on the idea of technology solutionism, right? So India and Australia, both the countries have highlighted the unlimited possibilities of working together in the space research, in the critical minerals, in the 5G, in the artificial intelligence, quantum computing, and many more. Also in December 2020, the India and Australia, they are coming up with the circular economy hackathon, which will also be organized with the focus on identification and the development of innovative technology. So they are also promising to launch the Australia India Cyber and Critical Technology Partnership Grant Program. So these are some of the important current affairs which we have read in the recent week, right? So after this, uh, this is a brief uh, this is a brief idea about how to pick up the headlines from the newspaper, right? Now, the last one we have is the Leelavati Awards. So, this award has been named after the 12th century book called Leelavati, which was written by the mathematician Bhaskara too. So, Leelavati was actually the daughter of Indian mathematician Bhaskar. So, it is the AICTE's innovation education program, which is to empower the women. So, this Leelavati Awards is mainly given for the women empowerment, right? So, any doubt till here? Yes. Any doubt till here? Any important news that you would like to discuss? All right. So moving ahead, why choosing Hit Bullseye? As I have already discussed, I've already mentioned that Hit Bullseye is working in the education field for like nearly 2 decades, and we are also ranked number one on the test portal of Alexa, right? And by choosing our web series, by choosing our test series for the DUJAT course program, wherein we are providing you with 100 plus sectional or chapter wise or 250 plus videos, basic concept videos are also there. Also now, and a cherry on the top is that we are available with you on the Telegram discussion group, through WhatsApp and through Telegram. We are there with you. You can ask questions directly, put up your doubts there, and one of our faculty will be available anytime, anywhere, right? So, however, our course price is 39,999, but by applying this coupon code, that is DUJT21, this course will be available to you at 29999. Now, with this joining by this URL, which is right in front of you, just click on it and sign up, and you'll get to know what all areas or what all content has been provided by the Hit Bullseye to you students. So we have concept videos, we have test series, we have full ebooks given to you. We have again concept wise tests are also given. So please visit our website and then you can avail the course, right? So any doubt till here, students? Anything you want to ask? Yes, Saloni, you were asking something. I think Saloni, your network is weak. All right. So that is all for today, students. I just hope that I see your names on our next class, on our joining classes, which will be which will be scheduled very soon. And also by joining the Hit Bullseye, the main, I think the main advantage of joining us is that you will be given the timetables well in advance so that you can get to know or you can prepare your classes quite a while, right? All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Stay safe, stay healthy. Do not go out because Corona is still there, right? All right. Thank you so much. Thank you, Chaitanya. Thank you.